everyone, this is Gayle, and I am glad to be back in my studio. I have been doing a Fun Stampers Journey Facebook party, and it's still going on if any of you would be interested in joining. It's on through Saturday until I believe it ends at 8 o'clock Saturday night. But I've been really busy. I have a new dog here that was sent to me by a greyhound adoption group, and they were having issues with this dog, and the dog originally came from a kennel in Florida, and it was the group that I had volunteered with when I lived in Florida. And they called me and asked me if I could try to quote-unquote fix this dog because she was being labeled unadoptable, and they saw it more as a leadership issue. So I have taken on that challenge. You know, I needed something to do. And so I am doing that. And I'll explain more about that tomorrow in my Friday Frolics. Just wanted to give you one little tip. The last thing I used my pasta machine for was some blue clay. And I needed to condition some white clay. So what I did, let me move my camera just a little bit. What I do is this is a piece, of course now it looks gray, but this is some translucent clay that I keep in my drawer. And just a minute, I've got to correct the dog. Sorry about that. I don't know that I'm going to get this video made with her acting the way she is, but we'll see. Anyway, I keep translucent clay, and I sacrifice this translucent clay. I don't know if it's a whole block or a half a block, but I sacrificed it to be my clay machine cleaner. And what I do is I do use a wet wipe, a baby wipe. And you can see here where I've wiped, that's the blue that was in my pasta machine. But this doesn't get everything. So what I usually try to do after I've used a color in my machine, after I wipe it with a baby wipe, I then run this translucent through, and it picks up any extra little clay fragments that are in my machine. That's why it's gray, because it has picked up some other fragments of other colors, and it's just all blended to gray. But I just keep it in my drawer here. I don't even keep it covered. Just whenever I need it, it's there. So I just thought I would give you that little tip. But what I'm going to do is I'm using souffle clay today. This is Mai Tai, which is a real pretty orangey, rosy coral color. I really like this color, called Mai Tai, and this is turnip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two Skinner blends, one with the Mai Tai and white, and one with the turnip and white. And I'm going to show you how to do a multicolored flower petal cane. I had somebody ask me to do that a long time ago, and I just never seemed to get around to it, and I needed a quick tutorial, and this is one of the ones that I thought of. So I'm going to turn the camera off while I make my Skinner blends, and then I will be back. Okay, I have got those blended, and I've rolled them into a Skinner blend log, which I'm going to squash down and make it into a plug. And you just do that by pressing on each end, and you just make it shorter and fatter. So now we have two. This one's a little bit larger, but that's okay. It'll still work. So now what I'm going to do is, sorry, I've got a phone call and the dog's crying. Be right back. Okay, the phone stopped ringing and the dog is still crying, but she'll be all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into 4 quarters. Just slice straight down, turn it halfway, and cut it. You do the same thing with both of them. And you don't have to leave them together. You can let them separate and cut each one separate, but I just like to do it this way, just to make sure that I'm doing quarters. Okay, so I think what I'll do, since this is the larger one, is I'm just going to lay these out side by side. Now this is a technique that I learned at Shrinemont so many years ago. I don't even remember exactly who it was that I learned it from. It was like Judy Belcher or Donna Cato or Kim Cavender. It was somebody. There was so many people at Shrinemont. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm taking these quarters that I made and pressing them down into the V made by the first cane. And I'm just going to stick this one here on the end. You can see this is the way it looks now. You've got the orange on one side, the purple on the other, and then the white sort of offset. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press this together. And as you press it together, it's going to get longer. If it doesn't get longer, then you can pull it longer. But you just press it together. I use 2 different types of clay in this. The white is Primo clay and the colored clay is Souffle. So I'm hoping that the white isn't going to be too firm to keep this from doing what I want it to do. But just to, you know, squeeze it in and pull it till it's about twice the length that it was. And then cut it in half. And you can see what it looks like in the half. And you just press this together. Let me see, let me do it this way so that I'm pushing these 2 little purple pieces together. These 2 little short ones, that was the one on the end. It doesn't really matter, but I kind of know how this is going to end up, and I really want it to look the way I want it to look. Now you can stop here if you like. Personally, I like to make mine to do it twice, you know, take it to twice its length. By squeezing here and pulling the ends. Then I'm going to cut it in half one more time and see how that looks. See, that's what it looks now. Or that way, whichever one you decide. I think I'll put the purple in the middle. But if you put it together again and squish it together, it's going to be even neater looking. And this time I'm going to roll it because I want to make it a little bit longer. And I want to do it on all 4 sides because I want to make this square so that I can make it round. Polymer clay people are really weird, aren't they? How many other people do you know make something square so you can make it round? And I do believe I will use my square pairs. I should have been using those all along. It would have made this a little bit easier, but I can use this until it gets too big. I'll just go flip it over. and squeeze it. That just about got it square. Love these things. I just wish I remembered that I had them earlier in my process. So this is pretty square now. And let me just slice off an end so you can see what we've got. Alright, there's what we've got now. I think I'm going to put the purple in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the purple end into a point. And then just kind of round off this end. And there you have your flower petal. And it's two colors. It's actually three colors. It's purple and white and that orangey color, which is really pretty. And then you just reduce it down to whatever size you want. Put it together. I don't really, let's see, let me get a flower center out of my stash here. See what I've got. Did you hear that? It went in the trash can. I could use the black swirls. And I'll tell you what, I'll use this one. This is a black with white polka dots. That ought to look good. That's what I'll use. Sometimes it helps to have all these clay things. So let me just reduce this down just so I can show you. I'm just going to take slices off of it. And you'll lose your point when you start reducing it. But all you need to do is pinch it again. And you lose your roundness. Just roll it on your work surface and you'll get that roundness back. Let me slice this off first. Let me just make a flower center. I'm not going to make a flower cane, but you can certainly do that the same way. You can pull this out and cut it into slices, but what I'm going to do is just cut individual petals. So let me cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should do it, but I'll cut an extra one just for convenience sake. And what I'll do is I'll put them around the center. Just want to show you what this flower will look like when it's done. And I kind of prefer doing individual petals as opposed to making a whole cane, only because you're limited. Like if I made this a cane with this in the center and then cutting off slices of this to go around it, then I'm limited to using this one as my center. Whereas if I do it individually, just leave it like this and cut the petals, I can put it around any center I want. But there you go. There's a flower with the black, with the white polka dots as a center. You can use any center you want. You could make it a yellow center. You could do the same thing with this, with that yellow with black polka dots. That would be kind of cool. But there you go. There, let me come down a little bit. There is your multicolored flower petal cane. So this is a flower petal cane. I'm going to take a quick picture while I've got it here. I don't know if I can while I'm recording. I don't think I can. But let me just come back up. But this is how much I've got, and depending on the size of flower that you want, if I want this to be a smaller flower, just think how many petals I can get out of this. And it was just one section of each of the color clays. So I had one section of the white, one section of the purple, one section of the orange, and came up with all of this. So you can see that you can get a lot out of a little bit. So I hope you like that. I'm sorry it was such a quick little tutorial, but I do have a lot going on with this dog, and I need to get back to her so she doesn't understand me talking and that there's nobody here. It's really bothering her. So anyway, I just wanted to I just needed to get back in the craft room. I've been off for about a week and I just can't take it anymore. I've been doing Fun Stamper's Journey and I have been having a ball doing that, but I just needed to get my hands in the clay. So I will be back tomorrow with my Friday Frolics, and we'll go over some of the things we did this week, and hope to see you then. Bye-bye.